Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode. I hope you guys have had a good week since the last episode. Today we are talking about disclosing salary because one of my listeners and Instagram followers asked me about disclosing her salary because she had a situation where she disclosed her salary. No, she didn't disclose her salary, and because she wouldn't, they actually decided to withdraw her from continuing along the interview process, which I had not heard of until this point, until she said that to me. So I thought this would be a really cool episode so that we can talk about, should you disclose your current salary? And if you don't, the potential of what could happen, including what happened to one of my listeners. So, should you disclose your current salary? Before we get into the shoulds, the coulds, the woulds, should I say it? Should I not say it? How should I say it? What should I say? Let's talk about reasons why companies are asking you for your previous salary, because I think that's as important as whether or not you make the decision to disclose your salary or not. I'm going to also tell you what I do if I disclose my salary or not, because I know you guys want to know. I know you're in my business. Anyway, why do companies ask you for your previous salary? Number one, they want to be able to lowball you on the salary that they are offering. So you know that they're offering between 70 and 80,000, but you're only on 60 and you're trying to make a big jump. They know you're on a low salary. Guess what I've seen happen? Someone's on 60, they've offered them 65, even though the advertised salary was between 70 and 80k. When the person has then come back to negotiate, they've been like, oh, okay, we'll do 70, the bottom end of their band. Or they've not even gone up to their band, because the person will say, oh, you were advertising it between 70 and 80k. That's why I wanted to interview. And they were like, oh, because you're quite inexperienced or because you don't have that much experience, we can only start you on 65. What? I'm inexperienced. Then why didn't you hire one of the more experienced people? Why did you not offer the job to someone more experienced? One of two reasons. There was no one better than me. That's why you didn't offer them. Or you went with someone who you thought would be the cheapest option. Either way, I'm not the cheapest option. Either I was the best candidate or I was the cheapest option. If I'm the best candidate, pay me what I'm asking for. If I'm the cheapest option and you only chose me because I'm cheap labor, that is a red flag and you're not the type of company I want to work for. So they want to know your salary so they can lowball you. Most companies won't lowball you as low as your current salary, but they'll probably give you the bottom end of whatever it is they're offering, because they know that's still a big jump. Like if you're on 60 and they're offering 70 to 80, they can get away with offering you 70 because they know they've given you a 10k pay rise. Do you see? Whereas if you was already on 70, they're not going to come and offer you 70k because you're already on 70. That's not going to look appealing because you're offering me the same money. Like, what? So yeah, that's a sidestep, a lateral move. No, you're going to be like, absolutely not. I'm trying to do better. So that's why they want to know. Another reason is because they actually will offer you the higher end. But if you're on 60k and they're offering between 70 and 80, and say they offer you 78, so they don't offer you, or 77, they don't offer you the 80k, but they offer you pretty close. They're like, listen, she was on 60k. We're now offering her 17k more than she was on before. We're not going to have to give her a pay rise for like 5 or 6 years. You see how they're smart and they're saving money. When you now go and ask for that pay rise in a year, when you've been overachieving, hitting all the targets, they've been giving you way more work than they told you they were going to give you. They're like, no, but you're already on a really good salary. You're almost at the top of the band. Do you see? So it's another way they manipulate how they can control your salary, for how long they can control your salary. Versus if you tell them I'm on 75, I'm looking for 80k, they now have to find a way to give you the top end of their salary. When it comes to negotiating my next salary, it's not my fault. I want 85. Like, you're going to have to figure it out, guys, because I'm performing, I'm delivering the results. You give me more responsibility than I'm supposed to have, all those things. But if they know that your current salary is low and they're giving you a much higher salary, they will sometimes withhold or reduce your future pay rises because they feel like they have done you a favor. So pay attention. The other reason they want to know your salary, they're trying to see how competitive they are in the market, especially if you work for one of their competitors. So if you work for one of their competitors in a similar role, if your salary is similar to what they already pay their staff, they know they're actually in the right place and that they've got good market value. But if your salary and everyone else they interview is much higher, they know that they underpay their staff already. So they actually realize they're not competitive. And maybe that's why they're not getting the quality of candidate they want, or that's why their staff are no longer performing, or why all their staff are asking for pay rises because they're no longer competitive, or why all their staff are leaving and saying it's because of money, because they're realizing they're not competitive. So actually, they're not using your salary for any other reason than to see, are they competitive? Maybe they've got an internal candidate they want to offer the job to. The only reason they're interviewing external candidates is so that they can see if the salary they're thinking of offering this internal person is realistic. And yes, this happens a lot. Sometimes they've already got an internal candidate lined up. They know who they're going to offer the job to, but they interview external people just to check, not just to check salary, but to check skill set, to check, okay, would we be better off going out in the market, or is the skill set similar to what we already have internally? So we've made the right decision. Let's go with our internal decision. And yes, it's a waste of your time, but companies do it all the time. And that is why I tell my clients all the time, when they start interviewing and they haven't interviewed for a long time, I tell them, just go to some interviews that you know you don't want the job. And they're like, oh, but I'm wasting the time. Do you know how much time companies waste of yours knowing they've got an internal candidate they was always going to offer? That happened to me before. I remember this company made me go through 3 interviews. They were like, you're amazing. We'd love to offer you, but we've gone with an internal candidate. Are you mad? And then a few weeks later, tried to offer me something else. Get out of here. You already knew the internal candidate was getting the job, but you just wanted to see if I was better than the internal candidate or not. You decided at the end I wasn't better than the internal candidate, so you gave them the job, which is what you wanted to do in the first place. You wasted my time. You could have told me at the beginning, we have another internal candidate. Then I could have decided whether or not I was going to continue after the first interview. Do you see? Wasted my time. Had me running up and down. Really thought I was going to get that job. I know I sound a bit bitter, right? But you see how things always come back round, because then they called me and wanted me for something else. And it was a big fat no. So yeah, sometimes they're just trying to see how competitive they are in the market. Fourth reason is sometimes they just ask you that question to see how comfortable you are with discussing money. Because if they realize you're not confident or comfortable discussing money, they know they're going to be able to negotiate you down on whatever you ask them for. Because they're looking for your level of discomfort. Like, are you confident when they say to you, oh, what's your current salary? Do you just disclose? Or are you like, oh, but why do you need to know that? And da-da-da-da-da. And do you come across as timid, like meek, easy for them to intimidate? Like, are you uncomfortable discussing money? Because a lot of us are uncomfortable discussing money. I'm more uncomfortable discussing money with people I know, because I think people might care about you, people might love you, but people can be envious or jealous without even realizing, or get annoyed, or they're just nosy. And why do they need to know what I'm earning? Like, who cares? Or people want to know what you're earning because they don't understand how you're living the life you're living. And then when they find out, they're like, I still don't understand. Listen, it's all kinds of things. Personally, I don't like disclosing my salary, discussing money. But in interviews, in situations where like I'm negotiating salary, I'm very confident talking about money, because I want more of it. And my bank balance will be happy when I get more of it. So I have forced myself to learn to be comfortable with the conversations around money. Because they know if you come across uncomfortable, it will be way easier for them to negotiate you down to what they want to offer you. Because when you're uncomfortable speaking about money, someone else can tell you what your skills are worth. Someone else can tell you your value. Because you're not comfortable enough telling them, this is my price tag, this is the value, this is what my skill set is worth, and this is what I want. You're not confident to do that. So then they end up telling you what you're worth. And then you end up complaining because they're usually lowballing you 10, 15K less than you're actually worth. And I see it a lot. I've worked with clients where that's the case. They know they're on like 20, 25K less for the industry standard. And they've accepted it because they're very uncomfortable talking about money. They're very uncomfortable selling themselves. They're very uncomfortable talking about, I am valuable and this is the value I bring to a company. They're not comfortable with that. So companies will test your comfort around money and they'll ask you this question. So they're the reasons why there's a few reasons why a company wants you to disclose. Another reason is just simply because that's how they've always done it. They always ask you this, like they've always asked what's people's salaries. They've always asked for disclosure. Just like when people always ask you like, what race are you and stuff like that on the equality forms. It's just something they've always done. But usually it's one of the first four things that I've said. So let's get into it. The bit you care about. Should we disclose your current salary? Me, personally, I will disclose a salary. Doesn't mean it's my actual salary. And I'm going to stand on that. Because why? In the UK, now I can only talk about the UK right now, because I know in different countries, like in America, in different states, they have different rules. Like it's not one blanket rule for the whole of America. I know in places like India and other places where I've worked with clients, they've said to me like there's certain laws or there's certain things where you have to disclose your salary and you can't lie because they'll check it. In the UK, they do not check your previous salary. So you can say whatever the hell you want. So if I know I'm going for a massive jump, like again, we're going to go back to the 60K example. If I'm on 60K and I want 75 and they're paying between 70 and 80 and I want 75, I'm going to tell them I am on 73K, because who's going to check me? Who's going to know I'm on 60? Or I'm going to tell them I'm on 72. Whatever it is, I'm going to tell them I'm close to the number I want. So if I say I'm on 73, I'm then going to ask for 77, knowing that I want 75. If they negotiate me down, I'll be at the 75 that I want. If they don't negotiate me down, I've just got up to 77 when all I wanted was 75. Do you see? And I know I said that really, really fast, so go back and listen in case you didn't catch it. But if I'm going a big jump and I know my current salary is 60K and this company is offering between 70 and 80, I'm not telling them my current salary is 60K. I'm not getting a low ball, not for anyone. But that's just me. You don't have to do what I do. I'm letting you know what I do. And I'm reminding you that in the UK, no one checks your salary. So you can say what you want. However, if you are not comfortable with that, because I know a lot of people that just are not comfortable. I've worked with people that have said to me, Adele, I'm not willing to lie. I've been like, cool. Then you shouldn't. You should never do anything that compromises your morals. So if you're not now willing to lie, because like I said, these companies don't hesitate to take advantage of you. So I don't hesitate to take advantage right back. And again, I put myself as the center of my career. But if your morals, you should have morals. Everyone should believe in something, because if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. So if you believe like I shouldn't have to lie about my current salary, cool. Then tell them your salary. But know that that means any of the things that I've just said to you before could happen to you. And as long as you're comfortable with that, go ahead and disclose your salary. Another, if you decide not to disclose, and I see so many videos, I've spoken to so many people who give the advice that they're like, no, don't disclose your salary. Just say to them, oh, it's within the budget that I've seen that you're offering. That's great. And that works. And I do think you should say that. Like you should say like, oh, when someone says to you, what's your salary expectations? You can say, or they say, what's your current salary? Say, oh, my current salary isn't the same as this salary, but what I'm looking for is definitely within the band that you have on offer. That should shut the conversation down. But if they then go back and say, yes, I totally understand that, which is great, but what is your current salary? Now what's your second answer? Your second answer could be, my current salary isn't really a reflection on this job because it is a slightly different type of role. And the scope for this is different. The fact that you're going to want me in the office full time and my current job is remote. So I do feel like there's a massive difference because I'm going to have to pay for commuting and things like that. So I don't think my current salary has a bearing on this salary. Now you shut that down. They shouldn't ask you again. But what if they do? And this is what happened to my client, not my client, one of my listeners. They kept asking, so they're being really pushy. If you don't disclose and they keep pushing you, you will come across as combative. Because at this point, they're like, why is she not just telling us her salary? I've asked her 3 or 4 times. I clearly want to know. And you're thinking, why do they keep asking my salary? They're going to try and lowball me, or they're going to do this. They're going to give me a good salary, but then not offer me another pay rise in 5 years. Like you're thinking all these things. You come across combative and you're the one who wants the job. So that becomes a problem. Immediately, they will think you are a problem and you are hard to work with because they've asked you 3 or 4 times, what is your salary? And you just keep saying all this other stuff rather than saying your salary. So again, for someone like me, I might initially say to them, oh, my previous salary, da, 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 da. Like I will say all the little nice things. But if I notice that they really are pushing with it, I'll just say a number. Again, I'll just say a number because in the UK, no one checks the salary. So I say what I want. If you don't disclose, you may come across as combative or a problem or hard to work with. For my poor listener, they decided because she wouldn't disclose her current salary, because she knew her current salary was really low and she thought it was that they were going to give her a really low offer. She didn't disclose. They said to her, because you're not willing to disclose your salary, we're not willing to go any further with you in the hiring process. I remember she had another interview booked and everything. They said absolutely not, interviews cancelled. She said they were polite about it. It wasn't like they were rude to her, but what? And my thing is, people would probably say like, "Oh, she should have just disclosed it then," and said to them, "Listen, I'm willing to disclose it. If I disclose it, can we carry on with the interview?" Sir, madam, that's a red flag. The fact that they would stop the interview process because you were not willing to declare your current salary. They were happy when they interviewed you. They were happy when they spoke to you. They wanted to book you in for a second, but because you won't disclose your current salary, everything's off the table. Why do you want to work for that company? I wouldn't even want to work for them at that point because, gross. However, like I said, it also might be that in their mind, she came across as combative and they immediately thought she's going to be a problem. If she's not even willing to disclose her salary at this point, if we hire her, she's just going to be problematic. That's not for us. That could also be their thought process. And after me and her spoke, she was literally like, I'm just going to say what I want. Because she works in the UK. She was just like, I don't know why I've always overthought this. I don't know why I've always worried about disclosing my current salary when I can just say a number. But then she asked me something really interesting. And this is the last point I want to say before I finish off this episode. She says, what if you're offered and then they notice on your P45 that you lied? And until she said that, I was like, do you know what? I've never come across that. I've never even thought about it myself because I have definitely said numbers that weren't true. And they definitely got my P45, which told them how much I made in my last employment. And I was like, However, two things. P45 usually gives an overall total of everything you've made in that past employment. So if I've been there 5, 10 years, it's going to be a massive number. Who has got time, unless they're paid, to sit and calculate what that calculates at over the 5 years? Also, minimum wage and things like that change. So I would just say, oh no, when I first started with them, I was only on minimum wage, even if I wasn't, because then the big numbers will add up. But no one's doing that. Secondly, if you've only been there, say for instance, it will show what you've earned in the last year, and they're going to see you said I'm on 70, like me, Adele has said I earned 72,000. They can see I clearly last year I earned, because I only was at that last company, say a year, whatever, I've earned 60,000. So they're like, where did this woman get the 72 from? Right, these are your options when this happens. Because again, I've never come across this. I have done this. And like I said, I've never come across someone looking at my P45. Two things. If you're working for a big corporate company, the person who interviews you is not usually the person that looks at your P45, unless you're interviewing within HR, and then that can be the case. But usually HR or the payroll department is looking at your P45. Yeah, they enter the numbers in the system and it's done. They just get it done. It's like data entry. It's a quick job. Usually that's not the same person. So they would have no idea what you said in interview versus what they're putting into their system. So that's first and foremost. Yeah, when they're entering. And what I mean by putting into the system, when they're putting in your P45 information, like, let's be real. Like, they're not looking. No one cares. So firstly, that's what I would think if I was working for a big company. If it's a small company, maybe they will look, like, because maybe it's the owner who interviewed you who's also putting your details in. They may be annoyed. They may be frustrated. They may come to you. I've never heard of an offer being withdrawn because someone said their current salary, they lied about their current salary. Other things you should not lie about, because there's a lot of other things if you lie about, you will get your offers withdrawn. However, I've never heard of this. So it was really hard for me to think of an answer. But then I was like, oh, what would I do if that happened to me in my situation? So I would be like, oh, when I said 77, that's my entire package. And they'd be like, what do you mean your entire package? Oh, I got 40 days annual leave. I'll just make up how much annual leave I got there. Like, I'll just make it bigger than it is. Like, I'll be like, I got 50 days paid annual leave plus a free car parking space. So that all added together is 77,000. I don't know. They give me an allowance for my travel. I don't know. Actually, you can't say the allowance for your travel because that does get added on as like a salary. But anyway, do you understand? There's things you can say. Like, I'll just say that, oh, I meant as part of my overall package. They've already given me the offer in writing. They've already given me my contract. They can't go backwards. Because now if they go backwards, I'm not going to work for them. So, oh well. That's what I would do if I lied and I got caught by a P45. However, like I said, I would hope that no one is paying that much attention, or they're not remembering because they've interviewed so many people. They're not even really remembering what you said at interview, what you said your current salary was. But if that did happen, obviously there's a chance that they might withdraw the offer. And then you've got to think about why they're withdrawing the offer. It's because they wish they could have paid me less. They wanted to overwork me and underpaid me. Do I really need to be there? So Yeah, I've never really come across the P45. She just asked me as a question. She said it hasn't happened to her. She was just asking me, but what if I get the job? And again, she was just focusing on what if all these bad things can happen. I don't focus on the bad things when I'm going for my interviews, because if you focus on the bad will come to you. I focus on getting what I want from the situation because I know the company's going to get what they want from me. So yeah, that's my 2 pence on should you disclose your current salary. The pros and the cons. Like, there are pros to disclosing it and there are a lot of cons. So you got to think about, if you're disclosing your salary, are you disclosing your real salary? If you're disclosing your salary, what that might mean for you, them and their offer. If they don't offer you what you want, are you strong at negotiating? Are you willing to negotiate? Because again, if you say your salary and they offer you a low number, like, you're not willing to lie. Like, I respect that. So you say, I'm on 60K, but for this type of role, I am looking for 75. And then they come back with a lower offer. You can still renegotiate and say to them, listen, as I said in an interview, I'm not willing to da 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 da. And they might say to you, oh, your experience, blah, blah. And you might be like, yes, I might have less experience, but my skill set alone, the results that I've been able to deliver so far in my career, I'm going to be bringing that to you. So I'm expecting 75K. Is there no way we can meet in the middle? Because if there isn't, I might have to just look at my options and reconsider. You have to think about, are you willing to negotiate? Are you strong at negotiating? Can you still end up with the money you want? Or are you going to take the low ball offer? Again, that's up to you. Because you might say, I'm on 60K, they've offered me 68. Even though it's less than I wanted, I'm going to take the job. Cool. Then do that. Certain things, there are no right or wrong. There are opinion and there are choice. My choice is to not let anyone play with my pockets or play in my face. If I tell you in 2 years I want to be on 100K salary, I'm not going to get there by letting people lowball me. I'm not going to get there by disclosing my current salary when I know my current salary is 20K less than what they're offering. My clients are getting 20, 30 and 40K pay rises. Do you think someone really wants to give you a 40K pay rise? You was currently on one salary and they want to give you 40K more if they don't have to. Exactly. Couldn't be me. So I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm sharing with you my opinions, but this is how the job market works, and you have to make the decision on what works for you. Remember, a lot of this advice today was based on UK. Outside of the UK, a lot of places you have no choice but disclose your salary. When that happens, if they lowball you, you have to be good at negotiating. And guess what? I have got so many episodes on negotiating. You cannot go wrong. Go back, listen to every single one of them, because there are so many on how to negotiate. Because the more confident you are at negotiating, the easier it will be to secure the money that you want in the first place. Always ask for more than you want. Remember that, because that's my top tip. Anyway, have a great day. I hope this episode has helped you. It has put some thoughts into your head, and you are thinking now on whether or not you're going to disclose your salary. And if you are, what salary are you actually going to disclose? I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will speak to you on the next one. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.